All right, what up? Peace, peace, peace. First and foremost, man, hopefully the Most High in Yahushua is blessing our door by His mercy. We're consumed. We're alive in the Most High in Yahushua's body, and two are naturally alive. And yeah, man, we kind of going to go into this, man, because we haven't talked about this in a minute. But all praises to the Most High in Yahushua for this very moment, for this very day, because a lot of you brothers and sisters, like in the the four corners of the earth is commemorating, the Passover, man. But really, man, about our time in Egypt was really like, like we always said, like really is about saving us, like we said yesterday, out of sin and death. Because it's crazy as today, we was gonna talk about something else, but the Most High and how should I just put it on my put it on my spirit this morning to talk about something else. Actually, in the shower, I was listening to Nights Over Egypt by the Jones Sisters, and I was listening to Prince of Egypt songs, the Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey one, and just some other stuff like that. Just think about. But really, man, this all leads up to Yahweh Shai, man, because because we're gonna go into Second Esdras again, and we talked about it before, like a while back, but like like a year or so ago, but a while back. But we're gonna go into it because yeah, because this all ties into Yahweh Shai, man. Because yeah, let's get into it, man. How he comes in the volume of the book. Second Esdras chapter 15. We haven't read this in a while. I know I haven't read this in a while. Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretch out an arm and smite Egypt with plagues, as I did as before, and I'll destroy all the land before. So see that. So let's look at Second Esdras chapter 15 verse 11. But I'll bring them with a mighty hand and stretch with a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and I will destroy the land thereof. So see that. So like he said like and also too do it says how we be being like Egypt again, man. But this really ties into Yahweh Shai, man, as well. The even like that within itself, because Egypt was supposed to be us getting saved from bondage. Yahweh Shai saved us from sin and death and that bondage. But let's get Second Esdras chapter 7 verse 28 real quick, man, because yeah, let's get Second Esdras 28. It says, because I was looking up earlier, like it says, and this is going to all tie into one another, because I was looking up how long, like our ancestors, our forefathers was in Egypt. It says for like 430 years, and keep that in mind. It says, Second Esdras chapter 7 verse 28. For my son Yahweh shall be revealed in those that be with him, and they that remain, which shall remain, will rejoice within 400 years. So see that? So see, it says like that, but this is really tying into Egypt again, man. All of it's tying together, because it says like in Israel, like kind of got put things together all in the body of Yahushua, because our ancestors, our forefathers, was in Egypt for like 430 years. But those like it says right here, Yahushua will be with them for 400 years. Now let's look at this aspect of those that rejoiced and was like even to this day that rejoiced and was with like Yahushua and the God's getting the gospel, witness, testimony, new covenant. Not don't focus on the aspect of like the actual 400 years. Let's look at this spiritually, honestly. Let's look at this again. It says, for my son Yahweh Shai will be revealed to those that be with him, and that will remain. They that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. So see that. And then he say, then Yahweh Shai told the people that was with him, the disciples, the apostles, like those they were like Abraham would have rejoiced in my day, or like the many prophets, many righteous before you have rejoiced to hear what you hear, the gospel, like the witness, the testimony of him, like in the Father, and like how it comes in the volume of the book, the New Covenant. Now it said 430 years. Now we know, how Shah, like in his 30 in his 30s, kind of started he started his ministry at 30, man. So put that kind of together, man. Like 400 years, like that pretty much that all Egypt is testifying of him, man. Then at 30 he starts his ministry, like just like that's how he's a king too, because David was became king at 30, I believe. I could be wrong, but that's just all of it's talking about here, man. So we just looking at this spiritually, honestly, man. So yeah, and the yeah, see, just like how let's read verse 29, because this is how he saved us from sin and death, honestly, because that's what it was about, get us out of the bondage of death. Verse 29, after these years shall my son Christ or Mashiach die, and all men that have life. Exactly, man. So he died so we can have life, honestly, man. So we can overcome sin and death. That was his purpose. One, he did to come to do fulfill the book and his Father's will, and two, he came to save us, his creation, his people that really wasn't even worth it. Like even sons and daughters, doesn't matter what nation you are, your sons and daughters, could be a son and daughter of the Most High House. That's not that has nothing to do with your nationality. So we can have everlasting life, honestly. So we can overcome sin and death and live forever, honestly. So that's just what it is. So all that Egypt is testifying of him, man. Like that's about him. So let's get Revelation real quick, man, because there was something else I had to say, but I forgot. Oh yeah, and that's why, and the righteous of the past end up hearing the gospel, because that's what him preaching to the spirits in prison is about. Like those that did the righteous of before that, righteous men, and righteous men and women before that didn't hear the gospel, heard it. Oh gosh, hold on, y'all. My bad. Revelation chapter 11. Verse 8. It says, and their bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So see that? That's talking about where was Yahushua crucified? Jerusalem, man. So see all that Egypt and stuff like that is really about Yahushua overcoming us of bondage, sin, and death, honestly, redeeming us out of that, honestly, man. And it was always about the faith too. Even that was the time of the law, of course, like that. After that, we got the law, but really, what he's saying, he said children had no faith, man. So now it's always about faith, man. Let's get John 1 real quick. John 1, chapter verse 17, it says, for the law was given by Moses, and grace and truth came by Yahushua Mashiach. So see that? That's what it's all about, man. So all this Egypt and stuff like that, the 400 years and this and that, this is all leading up to Yahushua. I know let's get into that. Let's get into this, because let's go to Genesis 15 real quick, because when it said, all this is about Yahushua. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Yep. And he said unto Abram, know that a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and thou shalt afflict them 400 years. So see that? Exactly. That's why, that was a prophecy I was given to Abraham, honestly, Abram at the time, but then Abraham later on. But see that it says afflicted. What we afflict with, honestly, too, with the physical and labor and bondage, but also too the spiritual, man. Like we talked about yesterday, Pharaoh, it says it has good subtlety. So he was a serpent, and that serpent comes it goes back to the beginning, Genesis 3 and 15. There'll be enmity between the Most High and Yahushua seed, and the serpent seed. The children of God and children of Satan. Man, that's just what it is, light and darkness. So yeah, but see, you notice that was about Abraham will be told that his seed will be in Egypt, honestly. But now how this is dealing with Yahushua, and like we just talked about how how Yahushua said Abraham would rejoice, would be rejoiced, honestly, which is going back to that second Esdras 7 and 28, which you're going to get into. First, John chapter 8, verse 56. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and when he saw it, he and was glad. So see that. So let's go back to that again, because it's all tying together. Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 28. It says, for my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice with him 400 years. So see that? Now we see that was told to Abraham about Egypt, and Yahushua, like, Yahushua was like, and now Yahushua, when he was a child, he physically went to kind of like, that's how he's a prophet unto Moses, and that reoccurring theme, and like, that motif in the scriptures, man. Like, it's the same word, just different people, whether it's righteously or wickedly. Honestly, that's what this word is, man. Seriously. That's what, because we have a father, like, and son that changes not. Honestly, they're the same. Honestly, it's just like, that's why The Wire is my favorite show, because it's the same. It's the same game. There's just different players in it, man. Honestly, so yeah, man, but we just noticed that, like how it said, Yahushua, like, those that will rejoice to see the prophecy that was given to Abraham about us being in Egypt, of our forefathers, ancestors being in Egypt, and like, in the second Esdras, what we just read about how Yahushua, those that be with Yahushua 400 years, kind of like, Egypt again with him, but shall rejoice. But now, because he's, we're getting free from sin and death, honestly. So that's just what it is. Hopefully it's edifying. So much love to you, brothers and sisters. So yeah, peace.